Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being early. That never happens. I got a notification that you were logged on at like 12:55. I'm like, is this a dream? This is amazing. Because I'm always early. And then the one time I'm not, I'm like, oh shoot, you're gonna think I'm unprofessional. But I don't think you actually think that.
No, I don't. You're fine.
I'm gonna say full disclaimer, my dog is in the background because I'm watching him and he misses my mom right now. So if you hear some adorable whimpering, it's just him. He's fine. I'm not neglecting him. He's like a very nervous dog. So
I got you. My dog's nervous too.
okay, I'm glad you understand. Yeah, I love him. He's so cute. I would bring him over here, but he's like 85 pounds and I carry him to come say hi. So
That's fine.
so thank you. So I'm super excited to interview you. I've listened to your music and I'm a big fan. I really like what you stand for in being vulnerable and just emotional and not, straying away from that because I feel like a lot of artists who are on the younger side, they have a more difficult time being vulnerable. And it's not that that's a bad thing. It's just whenever someone is, it's like super impressive to me. So I'd love to know kind of, have you always wanted to release music that truly comes from the heart, has this like imaginative aspect of it, or is that more recent now that you're older?
In the beginning, I tried to write music that was not very vulnerable or emotional because I was nervous to show that part of me or to be honest, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, but recently, in the past couple of years, I started to be able to write, like, understand and write down fluidly how I felt about things. And um, I don't know what changed or I don't know, but I think I got bored with the happy music and the people always like giving me the same feedback, like this is so fun, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. And as much as I loved it, it was great. But I was like, okay, I'm starting to hear the same feedback over and over, and I'm getting bored. Um, and I'm not feeling like I'm expressing all of me, just like the happy part. So I started writing more vulnerable songs and showing them to my friends, and they they actually supported me and influenced me to release a lot of it. And the feedback from that stuff has actually been 100% better than the stuff before that. So
Oh, wow. Well, then it seems like you made a really well-informed, conscious decision to obviously still hold the happy songs close to your heart, but also be like, I want different feedback that isn't always just, I love it, I love it. Not that they wouldn't still say they love it, but something about, it may be resonating with them. And Honey Water definitely resonates with me because I like to call it memory hoarding. I know that's not like a term, but essentially I want to hold on to all the memories and kind of keep them in my brain. And whenever, I'm feeling nostalgic, just pick them all out. And I feel like Honey Water captures memories in a super vivid way. So I'm wondering if you also experience kind of the urge or the need to hold on to memories, and if so, is that why you put this song out? That was like the longest way to ask like such a simple question. I overtalk so much. I'm so sorry.
but it's good as an interviewer, I think, to explain your questions because it
Thank
helps me
you.
answer them better.
Thank you.
Um, but definitely, I definitely tend to hold on to a lot of memories, and it can be a good thing and a bad thing. Um, I try not to hold grudges, but the memories and the feelings that come with those memories make it kind of hard not to. I can see past somebody being not good or not nice to me or whatever because of those happier memories that I had with them that I choose to associate with them. And I
Mhm.
definitely hold on to them for a very long time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's good to know I'm not the only one. It's almost like you choose to not remember the bad things or the way someone hurt you because you want to convince yourself that all the good things they did outweighed that one bad thing, but that one bad thing could have been super toxic or super
Right.
devastating. So, Yeah, I guess I just really appreciate that you wrote a song that encompasses that, because I know me, and I'm sure many of your other listeners, resonate with it. So bravo to you.
Thank you.
um, and the song and music video, they've been out for maybe 5 weeks or so, so somewhat recently. I always like to ask when a song has been newly released, and I'm doing an interview shortly after, if how the reception has been. What did you think it would be, and then how was it? Was there any like striking comment you got, like, that you weren't expecting, or anything like that?
Well, this was the first song that I released in probably over a year that was something new and something fresh, I guess. And it was the first of a series of singles that I have planned to release this year. So the feedback aspect of it was amazing. Like a lot of people are like, "Wow, I love this new sound. Like it's so different from everything that you put out. It's so uh, like funky and like danceable and relatable and like in a weird way, you know, I don't know. So that part's been really good. A lot of yeah, I don't know, like just been overall good feedback with it that I made in quarantine and edited and shot by myself with some friends, and a lot of people have really dug that because of the visual side of the song was very important as well. Um, so yeah, does that answer the question? Is there another
Yes,
part of
it no, it answers it perfectly, and it also segues into my next question. The music video, I had no idea that you shot that in quarantine. I would have thought it was like this, like something like super, I'm not gonna say super produced, because obviously it was still produced, but more like time, or more like hands on it, more directors, all that, because it was so well done. So again, that's huge that you were able to do it with just a few people. And the bathtub, I love that. That was so
yeah,
cool.
thank you. That's funny. My mom actually owns a plumbing company, and the bathtub was one of her, it was like in the back of her office as just this extra bathtub that she had laying around. And I was like, Mom, can I borrow this? And I took it to my house and put it in the backyard. And it was like 500 pounds. Like, I'm not even joking. It's solid, whatever it's made out of. And it's extremely heavy. And we brought it to the backyard and like shot in it. And then my mom, I was like, don't worry, I'll take it out. Like, don't worry, whatever. And my mom was actually, because it's where it's at, it overlooks the water because it's on an
Mhm.
island. And so the sunset's right there. And my mom was like, no, keep it. We love it. We sit in there and watch the sunset now.
Oh,
So,
so
yeah.
cute. Also, I had no
Yeah.
idea that was your backyard. I thought that was like, some like on location type place. It was gorgeous. Gorgeous
Yeah.
backyard. So
Thank
jealous.
you. Shout out to my mom,
Yeah, what's your mom's name?
Janet.
Janet, shout out to you.
Shout out to you, Janet.
So sweet. Okay, and I have to ask, I don't know, maybe you revealed this. What was the honey made out of? Because obviously it was fake, which you have revealed, but I have to know.
It was, I don't know if you've ever made simple syrup. It's just water and sugar,
Yes.
and you boil it, and it becomes like this thick consistency. But if you burn it, it turns amber. So we
Oh,
just burned a bunch of simple syrup.
that's a great trick for anyone else looking to incorporate honey into a music video. Yeah, because it
I
was so realistic.
Yeah, I looked up like how to like buy gallons of honey and like stuff like that, and it just felt really wasteful
Mm,
because honey and bees are precious.
they are.
And I didn't wanna like buy like 5 gallons of honey and just dump it in the yard. So I was like, how can we make it fake but realistic and simple syrup?
A
Gotta burn.
great job. I love that. Props to you. And another thing you've spoken about is synesthesia. And honestly, I did not really know about it until I did some research. I'm wondering, and this is, if this is a hard hitting question, we can skip over it. But I guess I'm just wondering, do you feel like at the end of the day, it makes it more challenging or less challenging when it comes to writing? Because I could see both sides.
It it depends. The writing part, not so much um because it's very because I've been talking my whole life and like putting things into words my whole life, so that's kind
Mhm.
of easy. Where it becomes challenging is in the musicality part. Like when me and my producer Ryan Rains, or the guy who produced all of this stuff that's coming out, when we're like working on stuff, it's really hard for me to articulate exactly what I'm feeling that way. And obviously, with um, visual aspects of things like music videos and cover art and stuff like that, it becomes challenging because not only is it like a barrier in the synesthesia way, but I'm also kind of a perfectionist. So if I don't
Mhm.
get it, if I don't like see it exactly on paper as I'm seeing it in my brain, it's like not right. And it's not even, it can be very close, like literally very close, but it's like I don't want to put it out because it's not exactly what I'm thinking and it's not close at all in my brain. So
Okay.
that part that part gets really frustrating, but I have to learn to just get over that. And
Yeah, and I can imagine it's hard because you see all these little nuances or all these little differences that as a listener or as a viewer we might not even pick up on, but you know it's there. So it's definitely tricky, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. It
Um
has ups and downs. It sometimes makes things easier and sometimes makes things harder. But
yeah, and I was gonna say, like, I wonder, do you feel like it actually helps you be more creative or more imaginative? Because I'm sure you've heard, like even in elementary school, you know, you should feel as if you could, envision this perfectly in your head, and all five senses are like
stimulate.
activated. I don't know if that's the right word, but that type of thinking, we learn that in school a lot. So you've honestly experienced that firsthand, literally.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. It's weird. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's with everything like auditory, visual, emotional,
Hmm.
feelings. Like it's all just translated into this blur of blobs of things in my brain, color wise, and I have to try and make sense of it. But
Yes, and yeah, I guess I was just trying to think out loud, trying to make sense of it. I hope that did not come across as ignorant, because I'm actually okay. I just wanted to be transparent, because I've always been very fascinated with different things. So I wanted to make sure you knew I like was just truly curious, I guess.
no, you're fine.
But I'm sure you could ask questions about it a lot, especially because you're so open about it. So,
Yeah, and it's not like it's not anything that I'm like embarrassed about. It's if
mhm.
anything, it's something that I think is really cool,
Oh yeah,
and something that a lot of people are really interested in learning more about. I just wish I could. I wish I knew more about it myself. Like I don't really know enough to be able to. I can explain to people how I feel about it and what I like think and see and all this stuff, but that's about the extent of it.
yeah,
Um,
and it's obviously, I'm sure, very hard to explain if you're not the person experiencing it. Like, I don't know if you remember this TikTok trend. I shouldn't call it a trend, but that's what we're calling it. It was basically about how there's people who don't have an inner dialogue, and I had no idea that was possible. Like, they don't, anything they think, they have to verbally say it.
that's a thing.
Yeah, they don't, like, if I were to be quiet right now and think of, okay, I just thought of a sentence in my head. Their brain does not allow them to think about things without saying it or writing it. I think it's like it gets blocked. I could be explaining it completely incorrectly, but I had no idea. And it's just another thing you can't
That's crazy.
explain unless you experience it.
Yeah, that sounds like, excuse my French, but that sounds like hell.
No, I know, and the people who experience it said it is very much like that. But yeah, I guess the connection I was trying to make was just it's the same type of thing. Unless you're
Yeah.
experiencing it, like you will never know. Yeah, sorry, that was so off topic. You're probably like, are we gonna talk about like things related?
No, you're fine. It's fine.
But today is a very special day for you. Fiona came out. I already saw all the like messages on Instagram, or not the messages, the reposts as well as the lyric video. And you actually worked on this in quarantine as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Very
So
cool.
essentially everything that I'm putting out until quarantine is over, I have to do it in quarantine. So I have 4 more singles coming out after this one before the year's over, and visuals and everything for all of that. So we have to. Luckily, I live with Ryan, my producer and best friend, and he's down to help me with all of it. So we're just gonna be making a bunch of stuff in our house.
That's so cool. Yeah, Ryan actually produced one of my best friend's songs, Will J. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends, and I told him I was interviewing you today, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, how awesome!" So I thought I always love like I feel like the music industry is so small when you really think about it. So I thought that
Oh,
was a fun little connection.
yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, you guys should collab someday. I could see it. No,
I
I'm
would
just
love.
imagining.
Tell Will hit me up.
Oh, I will tell him. Is there anyone you hope to collab with in the future?
There's hundreds of people, but I mean, realistically, right now, I don't know. That's a hard question.
This
That's a
second,
really
if
hard
some
question.
if a producer called you and was like, "I know all the artists in the world, who do you want to work with?"
Kaylani.
Oh yes, I feel like she's making a comeback. I love it. I mean,
Yeah,
not that
I don't.
she ever went away, but
Yeah, I think that I think she's so dope, and her like melodies and lyrics and just swagger is unmatched.
yes, I agree 100%. That would be so fun. I will look out for that, Kaylani, if you're watching this. I'll send it to Kaylani and Will J and anyone else in that list of hundreds of people. Um, and back to Fiona, it's another song that is very imagination driven, but it's less about, real life events and more about dreaming of the perfect person for you. So I'm wondering, like, even though it's completely hypothetical, so to speak, you don't know someone named Fiona, um, is were you thinking of anyone in particular? Was it inspired by anyone?
Um, to be honest, no. And I'm serious. A lot of people have
I
asked
believe
me.
you.
A lot of people have asked me like, who is it really about? I'm like, literally nobody. I just pictured like I wrote it around the beginning of quarantine with I started writing it with my friend Drea, and I was just imagining like sitting in my room wanting to go do something, like bored out of my mind, and like in the same way that a lot of fairy tales are like your knight in shining armor comes or whatever, like Fiona is like my knight in shining armor, just like pulls up her car and is like, come on, let's go.
The
And
Lexus has to be a
yeah,
Lexus.
she happens to be really attractive and dope, so let's go. um but then there's also that added part of like my insecurity in like, this is too good to be true. I'm recognizing that, but I'm still letting myself do it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a tough balance to be like, is this really good for me or is it not? So
Yeah.
I totally feel you there. And something I like to always ask artists who are just starting out or who are you could be considered like indie artists, what are the challenges of that? Do you hope to one day be signed to a label, or what's your goal, I guess?
I don't really have. Well, when I first moved out here in 2015, my goal was to get signed and to be with a label and just make a bunch of music. Um, but as I've progressed into the industry, because I came out here and I didn't know anything about anything or anyone, so I kind of had to like teach myself.
Hmm.
And as I've learned that I don't necessarily want to sign like a full deal, but I am not opposed to signing partial deals with things with labels in. ways to help. My ultimate goal is honestly just to make music that people can relate to and have fun and have it reach as many people as possible. And my like passion, the reason that I'm even a musician is because I love performing.
Mm,
Um, and going on like a tour, a world tour, or something like that has been like a huge dream and is an ultimate goal. And just make that my life. Like every
yeah.
other year, go on this big tour. It would be great.
Oh my gosh. Well, any stops you have in California, I'll definitely go to. That would be awesome. I'm in San Diego now, but LA, of course. And then maybe Italy if you go to Italy. I'll have another excuse to go back to Italy. I miss it there so much. So
I'd love to go to Italy. I've never been there.
oh, it is gorgeous. You realize like how much of the world like you haven't seen, once you go out of America. It's this weird like phenomenon. Like there's other parts of the world, but you don't realize, wow, something can be this pretty and
Right.
the air's not polluted. No, I'm just kidding, but also kind of true. It's like
Less smog.
I can see, miles and miles ahead of me and there's no smog. No, I'm just being petty to LA. Sorry, LA.
Well, LA, you deserve it. You gotta
Yeah,
give
that's
stuff
true. I
back.
mean, we did it to ourselves, so I can't say I'm innocent, so to speak. Because just by living there, I guess I'm contributing. I don't know. I love how at that moment you pull out your reusable cup and your metal straw. That was such perfect timing. Such perfect timing. I love it. So just a couple more things. Are you good on time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you just wanted to give all your social media links, YouTube, all that stuff, and then there's a question I'd like to ask whenever I do a virtual interview that I'll ask at the end.
Um, yeah, you can find it anywhere at Jackii Kennedy, one word, Jackii Kennedy, and it's the same for everything: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, TikTok, all that jazz.
Perfect. MySpace? No, I'm just kidding.
MySpace coming soon.
I kind of wish MySpace would make a comeback because I never got to have one because I was too young to have it when it was super popular. So I really want to know what it was like.
I don't think you do. It was kind of messy.
Oh,
MySpace
was it?
was very messy. Yeah.
Okay, maybe not. Yeah, then again, now that I think about all the memes I see about it and all the controversies, yeah, maybe I'm glad I skipped that
There
platform.
was a lot of drama on MySpace. There was like a top friends list that was public to everyone, and there was a lot of drama about that.
That is low-key really funny. So if you were mad at someone, you'd take them off your list.
Yeah.
That is so funny. That's like the equivalent of unfollowing someone in today on Instagram. I
Except for
love.
you never had to unfriend them. You just were publicly making it known that you're no longer my top 5 best friends.
So that's actually kind of worse than unfollowing because unfollowing, not everyone's gonna know unless you tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's drama waiting to happen. Actually, I'm glad I missed that part of social media.
Yeah.
um, and then the last thing I wanted to ask is just I like to have people wrap up with either a quote or a saying, like something that gives you positive vibes to share with me and then the viewers.
Dang. It's a lot of pressure.
I know it's on the spot interviews, so I have to put you on the spot for at least one question.
Um,
But you could think about it.
I would say trust your gut and do what makes you happy and apologize later.
Oh, I like that. That's so
Yeah.
funny. I was just interviewing someone before this and we were talking about the importance of trusting your gut. So I love that. That's why I love doing these like final questions to kind of see what other musicians have to say. And yeah, no, I love that. It's really important, I think, to trust your gut, especially in the music industry. I'm sure you've
Definitely.
noticed there can be shady people, so you have to be
Yes.
very aware of that. But you have Ryan, who is the farthest from shady I know. So I'm so glad you get to work with
Very
him. He's great.
not shady at all.
No, not at all. Well, Jackii, thank you so much for your interview. I would love to do something in person when it's safe and I'm back in LA, maybe like a follow-up sit-down interview. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Your questions are really interesting and thorough.
Oh,
I
thank
appreciate it.
you. I like to be insightful and give the floor to the person I'm interviewing, make them open-ended. So your answers were awesome.
Thank you.
Of course. Well, have a great rest of your day, and everyone make sure to go stream Fiona, Honey Water. I'll put all the links in the description box.
Heck yeah. Thanks.
Of course. Bye.